Hey, what's up, guys? Um, I just wanted to do a follow up on a story that I did a while back about the police officer in Grand Rapids that shot this suspect, um, Patrick Lyoya, for simply not wanting to get tased and simply just not wanting to go to jail for a victimless crime. Um, and I really do commend the prosecutor that is actually charging this guy because he's got his work cut out for him. So we got the officials in Kent County, Michigan announcing Thursday a second-degree murder charge has been filed against the officer who fatally shot 26-year-old Patrick Lyoya on April 4th. Video encounter, which Lyoya, let's see, in which the officer shot Lyoya in the back of the head after the struggle during a traffic stop, sparked national outrage. And Chris Becker is the Kent County prosecutor. I'll tell you what, guys, um he's got his work cut out for him because they're unless these guys take a deal, this officer and his training these days. Hey, welcome there, TC. Appreciate you being here, Darlene. What's up, Jonathan? What's happening, man? But I really do. I can appreciate the fact that I'm following up on this story for the reason because I broke the story right after Michigan. Um, Small channels like news channels started picking it up. And then I seen the video dash cam and the other things that we've seen is just it's just I'm surprised it didn't get a lot more attention. It should have got a lot more attention, in my opinion, because you got to remember, man, this police officer in this case had a um what are them called? Them plate readers on his car. The plate readers that people get. They can, you could be going east and he'll be going west, and the cop can pick. The computer will say, turn around and apprehend suspect, bad plate, blah blah blah, and give the readout. The computer tells them to do it actually because it's a plate reader. That's what it does. So it informs the officer. So he couldn't turn around right away, and the guy was already on the next block. So he's doing 100 mile an hour through the neighborhoods to turn around to go on the next block and then pull this guy over. It is a crazy story, but I'm really sad that it happened, but I'm glad that they're gonna attempt to get justice. And I was just going to right here where it says Grand Rapids officers who killed Patrick Lyoya charged with second-degree murder. Now, in this video that I've already showed you guys before, I don't know if that's the one or not. There's the officer right there who shot and killed uh, Patrick Lyoya. And he ought to be ashamed of himself because the guy, you could see in the video that's very, very, very graphic. I'm not going to show the video again. It's just so graphic, guys. But the encounter, I'm sure if you guys was paying attention and watched my channel when I first broke this story, and a couple other people broke it after me. I believe Dragonette picked it up just a few weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago, and then Chili picked it up and repeated after me. But anyway, That's okay. I mean, I don't care. That's what we're for, is to spread the good news when we get good news like this. But anyway, this officer here is the one that killed this man right here in this video you see right here. This young man, he gave chase over a bad plate. So the precedence in this, ladies and gentlemen, is that what we're setting here in this thing is what's up, ZXL? Um, what the precedent that we're setting here in this video is that in the state of Michigan, when this officer shot this unarmed suspect, is that if you have a bad plate, um, eh, you know, the penalty is death. You know, that is the precedent that sets, because the guy was unarmed. He didn't want to get shot. He didn't want to get tased, and he just continued to wrestle the officer's taser down. He wasn't trying to take it from him. I seen the whole thing. I showed you guys this on my last video. It's so graphic that YouTube will put a warning label on it. It put a warning label on my thing after it, a graphic warning. So, anyways, this guy, um, was struggling just to push it down, and he kept on saying, "Okay, okay, okay," and they were just wrestling, and he heard it's like he wanted to give, but he didn't want to get his ass whooped on the way down, you know? That's just my take from it. I was really, really upset about this video. I played it over and over, maybe 7, 8 times, okay, on my live when it happened, and, I couldn't believe the crap that I was seeing in this video, and, I couldn't believe just the blatant disregard for human life in it, and that is what made me do the story to begin with. I peeped it, and it was like, "Nah, man, this is just nuts," you know? So, again, um, Patrick, Lyoya is getting, justice today, and, I'll read the story. I'll shrink this back down, we'll read the story. And it was officer who killed Patrick Lyoya, charged with second-degree murder, Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's just a few miles up 75 from me. A police officer was charged with second-degree murder for a shooting of a black man in the back of the head during the April traffic stop. Authorities announced Tuesday. Kent County prosecutor Christopher Becker said that he concluded that Grand Rapids police officer Shore was not acting in self-defense and intended to kill when he fired a shot at Caglos refugee Patrick Lyoya, 26 years old. The officer, who had been on paid leave since on the 4th of the incident, turned himself in and will be arraigned Friday. Thank Jesus. Tomorrow he's going to be arraigned. Good. Graphic footage released by the police protect city streets and the state capitol drew national attention to disclosure as intensified about the retro prosecuting police officers for the duty killings, for on duty police killings. The shooting's been seen by many and other example of the police using excessive force against black men, heightened tensions between officers and the black community in Grand Rapids, where police for years have been accused of mistreating people of color, which I agree with. I've seen that. But I mean, they get more attention, but I see them mistreating everybody. And to be honest with you, and they do. I see that Caucasian officers are more afraid of black black suspects, and they treat them a little more intense because of the heightened aggression that they foresee coming their way, and they get intimidated and they act on it. Um, let's see. Filing the murder charge was a major decision, Becker said, and made after through a tough review of the Michigan State Police investigation in the shooting. He said that he hoped it sent a message to the public that we take these seriously. Now, I'm going to stop right there. And the reason why I said that this prosecutor has his work cut out for him is because in unfortunately the way these police officers are in Michigan and everywhere else, and I think everybody knows this when I say this, that man, what is wrong with my something's wrong with my stuff here. It's not acting right. But hey, Jonathan, how you doing, bud? The heck is wrong with this thing? I don't know. I'm gonna have to come out and come back in because this thing is not acting right. Hmm. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So, um, in second degree, you got to prove that he maliciously, knowingly, willingly had the intention to kill maliciously, and they're going to say that the defense is going to say that, and the way the bootlickers are going to look at this is that he grabbed the taser. So when he was on the ground and he had the taser totally in his hand, but the taser, I'm gonna let you guys see me. The taser, oh man, my thing is on. Shoot, I left that other thing on. I'm sorry, guys. Um, Here we go. The taser was in between the ground and Patrick's hand, okay? And his hand was pushed into the ground as the officer was on top of him, pushing him with his left hand and trying to get him to release his right hand, and he wouldn't. So, because Patrick didn't release his right hand, because he didn't want the officer to grab the taser and tase him. He was trying to give up. He kept on saying, "Okay, okay, man, okay, I'm giving up." And he just simply did not see it that way. And the officer reached back, grabbed his gun, put it to the back top right of his neck, and then right before he pulled the trigger, oh boy slipped because he knew that the cop had the gun. So he basically slipped his hand so his body would lay flat. And when he did, the officer pulled the trigger at the same time and it slid up and blew the back of his head. He put a hole in the back of his head, man. He shot him in the back of the head. Just put it that way. And it was just terrible. It was terrible, guys. Okay. Um anyway, yeah. So anyway, that is the story. So I could foresee it now that he might get a jury trial and the jury might let him off because um he did in fact have his 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 hand on the secondary weapon, the less deadly weapon, the taser, for several minutes before he was put down to the ground. Okay. So he did obstruct the officer from doing his duty. But at the same time, we all know that the duties of on a non-victimless crime, the only thing that this guy was trying to do, he was guilty of obstruction without violence because he was trying to get away. That's all it was. And then when he did surrender, he didn't want to get tased, and the cop just wanted to go through with it. You know how they are. That's what they do. So everybody thinks. Let's see. Okay, everybody thinks. Let me go back to this. Everybody thinks the prosecutors are essentially an armed, are arm or just a branch of the police, and we're not. He said during the news conference. That right there. See this right here, guys. I'm gonna highlight this. And if you could read between the lines, they're basically saying we're only charging them to benefit you, and it's more likely than not likely. I'm going to tell you what's not there. It's more likely than not likely that they have a good defense. That I mean, um, he didn't deserve to lose his life over it. I believe that this officer is guilty of murder. Okay, and but unfortunately, the bootlickers and the way the law is written, it's going to protect. They're only doing this for show. That's what this is what tells me. I mean, they're so transparent. They're in broad daylight now. Everybody thinks comma, the prosecutors are essentially an arm or just a branch of the police, and we're not. He said during this news conference. You see that? We are our own entity. We have a duty to enforce the law, be it on police or the public. Patrick Lyoya's father, Peter, said that the family was not expected sure to be charged. You see that's the truth. That right there is the truth in this situation, I believe. Um, we are feeling a little bit of relief that we have heard this and told the Washington Post through the interpreter, but they say we are really comforted. No, it won't be until the officer is arrested and brought to justice. That is when we will really feel the relief. Yeah, I'm glad that the wheels of justice are starting to turn, but I'm not going to feel good about this until we get a guilty verdict, because I have a feeling that they're going to let him out on a small bond, and he's gonna um get off and be able to stay out here. If that was me or you, we wouldn't have the money to come out. That we would never get that bond. I respect the prosecutor's decision, he said in his city news conference Thursday. I don't have any reason to believe Mr. Becker made the wrong decision. To Lyoya's parents, who had demanded justice for killing, they said, amounted to the execution. And it was. It was. It looked like an execution to me. I was really ticked off when I showed this video, man. Um, it hurt me to see it. Now I'm not even going to show it again because it's so bad. The attorney Ben Crump praised the prosecutor's decision for the interview at the Post Thursday. I think the biggest thing about this today is the prosecutors confirmed that they knew that this was that he that we all knew was the charge. That was the officer engaged in an unnecessary, unjustifiable use of force when he escalated Patrick Lyoya, an unarmed African immigrant, for a minor traffic violation. The family, speaking for the reporters and the interpreter back in its announcements, repeating the calls, and demonstrates the remains of peaceful. The interpreter described as absolutely devastated by the death of their son and their brother. And he added that at least they want anyone else to hurt. You see, this story goes on, what we're seeing here is I believe this. Yeah, it is. It's definitely murder. He definitely needs to be charged, and this guy he should get at least a minimum of 20 years, a minimum, but he's not. Second degree law, all right, second degree is like a floater in the state of Michigan, guys. Um, if you get second degree, you do 18, maybe 20 plus. If you do it without tickets, ticket free, you could probably see the pro board in 18 years or 5 years before your out date, and they can let you go, but they usually don't. Second degree murder is usually let go around maybe 20 or 30 years in, if they're going to let you go at all. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take a drink of my water here. Yeah, so yeah, it was over a traffic violation, dude. His plate was didn't match the car, TC. His plate didn't match the car. So the police officer was judge, jury, and executioner and put a bullet in his head for it. That is what the precedent they would be setting if they let this officer get away with this type of heinous crime that he committed. Yes, sir. And yeah, I'm sure she did. But I mean, I'm the first one that did the story. She got the story from mine. She was in my live a month ago when this happened back in April. So I broke the story as far as the auditors goes. But I mean, it doesn't matter who does or who did. I mean, you guys can turn around and run it a couple more times. I'm just saying, hey, to my subscribers, I got over 3,000 subscribers that watch my stuff. So, maybe they seen it, maybe they didn't, and I figured you guys would want to see this, because we are affecting change out here, and this shouldn't just be for people of color. This should go for everybody because more Caucasian people get shot unarmed a year than anybody, but nobody makes a big deal about that because, I guess racism sells. But to me, I look at it, we're all the human race, and this is why I wore my shirt. All lives matter because they do. Just a fact. Um, and that is the kind of behavior that all of us need to bring awareness to because they are shooting unarmed people, guys. They are shooting unarmed people, and they shouldn't be shooting unarmed people at all, let alone tasing them. You got to find a way. I mean, in my opinion, when Washington State, I'm going to show you guys this. Watch this. Watch this, guys. Stand by. I'm going to show you I'm going to show you another story that kind of runs concurrent with this one, and why the narrative. I'm going to turn the paradigm on this and show you another narrative that runs concurrent with this. Stand by. Okay, so in my opinion, what I see coming, the change is coming because um and I should have been more specific on my channel instead of doing it on somebody else's. I figured if we're all together somewhere, I'll share it, and because I'm really I didn't monetize for a reason, and I really don't care about the relevance of my stories that I break. I just want the news to get out there, you know, and I want people to understand that we have uh, there's no excuse for us not to take care of our business as far as disseminating information as soon as things happen, and the more we put it out there the more people will see it. That brings awareness up. So I'm going to bring this story up real quick. All right, now in my opinion, all right, This is why the state of Washington passed a legislation. Drivers in Washington state don't have to stop for cops anymore. Okay? After a Washington state law, to certain police officers, state drivers are refusing to pull over when they're asked to by cops. Northwest News Folk recorded at 1,000 fares to yields in 2022. Patrol officers have described a sharp rise in motorists fleeing traffic stops, speeding away sometimes in stolen cars, according to the police chief. Washington House Bill 1054, which Governor Jay Inslee, Democrat, there's a D behind it, as you see, um, signed into law last year and banned police from pursuing traffic violators in their cruisers unless the officer is granted permission by the supervisor or the perpetrator is suspected of being under the influence of having committed a violent offense causing imminent danger to or must be identified. All right. Something's changed. People are not stopping right now. A Washington Post surgeon told the Associated Press it is happening. There are 3 to 5 times in a shift on the nights and when people times of week of days of shifts, which the charge comes from the elected officials that passed the laws to restrict traditional policing tactics involving the use of force and the duty to intervene in the cases the officers misconduct. More than the U.S. states instituted such reforms, such as killing of the George Floyd back in 2020. I'm going to stop right there. This is what's happening here, guys, because more people are getting woke to these facts. All right. A lot of people are getting woke. Hey, what's going on there, New York? A lot of people are getting woke to these facts, man. And what's happening in this is that they are realizing that number one, the whole country has been issued, and I repeat, the whole country has been issued illegal CDLs. Everybody's got a CDL. Because the definition in Black's Law's dictionary of a driver is somebody that drives for commerce, somebody that is getting paid to drive for commerce. So therefore, we all have illegal CDLs. That is why they're allowed to go past the Fourth Amendment and to be able to identify us and steal our immunity from us. All right. Yes, it's called immunity. You have the right to be private. You have the right to be secure in your Fourth Amendment. You have the right not to be searched and secured in your from origin to destination. You know, and no laws shall be created to violate any of this unless they affirmed by a warrant that they have to go get a judge to sign in good faith. You understand that? This is what's going on, guys. This is the real deal. Wolverine's putting it together for you. I'm going a little further. I'm putting stories together that people are not just getting woke to racism. Racism is just an attribute of all the tyranny that's going on. And there's thousands of attributes of tyranny. It's a lot bigger than this. We're just scratching the surface. We might have a shot at freedom and natural law if we continue to just put pressure on people to uphold the oath of and go to the rule of thumb of law and to obey the expectations of their office, obey the expectations of their duties, and honor their oath by simply obeying their code of conduct. You understand that? People really need to obey when they're in a uniform, duty bound and oath bound to, and they're obligated by law to follow their code of conduct. And I just wanted to share this with y'all So I'm going to read the rest of this. Washington State Republican lawmakers and forest leaders insistence the police bill, saying that it has hamstrung the efforts of law enforcement to preserve the public safety, according to the AP. Well, what I have to say about this right here, unfortunately, the bootlickers need to learn something. Okay, they need to learn that when we come back to this story right here, okay, this story right here is what happens when lawmakers think it's okay to pull over people like this, okay, for just having the wrong plate on the wrong car. And this guy right here in this picture is executed. He gets executed. This cop right here we're looking at that's chasing him, all right, is the judge, jury, and executioner, because this guy over here has an illegal plate on it to begin with, because he ain't no truck driver. Why should he even have a plate on the car to begin with? So that's what gives credence to this law right here that they passed in Washington State, which I am firmly, I agree with because of the Constitution. Now, people should be they should be stopping for law enforcement when pulled over, but only when the law is equally applied in the proper pretenses, because bootlickers continue to say that it's okay for us to know who they are. Well, you know what? Back to blue until it happens to you. That's all I can say. You know, you know, I'm not gonna, I'm not the same Wolvie, man. I don't cuss people out. I don't get angry and gonna call them names and all that. Not even the people that deserve it, because I'm not gonna contradict myself. But it makes me very, very upset and angry, and it hurts my soul when I see an unarmed soul die. Be- this guy sends him straight to heaven or straight to hell or whatever. Okay, because he is so-called duty bound to put him in jail for a non-victimless crime. Let me read this. Democratic state lawmaker, however, alluded to the bill, which is chief sponsored, by saying it doesn't believe pursuits in the 21st century policing system are needed. Crime data for Washington are not yet available. Homicides are often considered leading indicator that a tendency were up 46% in 2020. So this is why this right here I can dig, right? I'm gonna make this big so you guys can see it. This is good in my opinion for most things, unless you have committed a crime against humanity or kidnapping or the rest of it. That is what's important, guys. Thanks. I got a lot of thumbs up from one guy. That's cool. But yeah. But if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like button. And I just figured I would share this story and follow it up, because I know my subscribers would appreciate that. And that's what I do. And if you know, I will keep you apprised of um whatever information comes out of this. I will know, because I am going to get a little bit more information for I'm gonna dot my i's and cross my t's, and just keep you guys apprised. I know what to do. Anyways, I didn't want to make this a long dragged out one, so if there's any questions, you can go ahead and ask them, or I'm gonna go ahead and bounce and get back to what I was doing. But I just figured you guys would appreciate that. Stand by, guys. Stand by. Yeah, I know it's sad that some people think that they don't like Wolvie being a Christian, but it is what it is. That's who I am and that's what I do. Or in transparency, your moderator is out of what happened? Oh yeah. Yeah, he's just showing support, man. I mean, it's not like I got 1,000 people trying to, come up in here, so it's okay. The XL Master, he ain't really doing nothing. Now I could see if there's like 50 or 20 people, just hitting it, going back and forth, and the 200 people in a live, yeah, that could probably get on your nerves, but it's all right, man. But thanks so. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. And remember, you know, stay vigilant, and respect the boundaries and respect human life, man. And if there's any cops listening, man, you really should rethink the process of preserving life. And you remember you took an oath to the Constitution, and just because our trainers and the people that have been tyrants all our lives, which is our leadership, that has given us plates to begin with and gave us all illegal CDLs according to their rules, maybe they should rethink their process instead of murdering unarmed people. All right, y'all. Have a good night. God bless. And thank God this guy's getting some justice in her family. God bless the family. Pray for the family. I'm back quiet, reading the mail.